To honored guests, parents, guardians, family, friends, and staff, I feel very blessed to be speaking here tonight at such a special occasion for these young adults. After 29 years in this business, I've grown to appreciate these kinds of moments. Both of my kids graduated from California High School, so I appreciate being given one more positive experience so I can always remember the class of 2009. For me, the year did not start off so good. At the first faculty meeting of the year, a former student of mine who I had taught for 20 years came up to me and said, "Hi, you were my teacher, you look different." I don't think she meant it as a compliment. Then at the start of the semester, two of my students came up to me and said, "Guess what? You taught my mother." And one of them asked if I still had the corduroy pants that I wore in the 80s. Then, a couple weeks later after that, after I was feeling, wow, like I was in the sunset of my life here, I went up to visit my mom up in Vacaville at a retirement home. And she was sitting at lunch, and as usual, she was the proud mom that her son had come and visited. So there was a group of ladies, and I think probably the youngest one was probably about 79, maybe 78, my mom being 85. So they were sitting there, and my mom introduced me, and two of the ladies said, "Whoa, come sit next to me." My perspective in life changed at that moment. Having been a parent of two Cal High graduates, I think I speak for all the parents and the guardians when I say that the one thing we want for all of you is to be happy. So I will use this time to take the liberty of giving you a little fatherly advice. If you're like my kids, just nod your head and smile and pretend like you're listening. As I was reflecting on the class of 2009, it came to my mind that you have already experienced incredible events in your lives. You've experienced the 9/11 attack, which changed the world. You've experienced two wars that our country is in and ongoing. You've experienced the second worst economic meltdown in our country's history. And the experts say that your generation of children will not achieve the same socio-economic standings as your parents. Now I know that sounds pretty gloomy, and here you are going off to the next phase of your life, and the future maybe doesn't look bright. But I'm here to suggest to you that the future can be full of hope. Tomorrow you are starting a new part of your journey in life. Obviously, for all of you, this means either going off to college, the military, traveling, or working 40+ hours a week. But I'm not talking about going on that kind of journey. I'm talking about going on an inward journey, a journey of the soul. Some may call it a spiritual journey. A spiritual journey is a journey that includes finding out who you are by discovering your strengths and your weaknesses of character. A spiritual journey is a time to step back and look at our lives as if we were watching a movie about someone else's life without judgment or condemnation. A spiritual journey is experiencing the inevitable encounters with the unexpected. There are unexpected things that knock the wind out of your soul. A death of a loved one, a betrayal by someone, feelings of discouragement, or an illness. But we have to remember that there are always unexpected blessings on this journey. Think about a safe and trusting relationship you have with someone, or a time when there was recovery from an illness, or a time you felt hope. So the question comes in, as you're experiencing this journey and moving on, what do you need to pack for the journey of tomorrow? Well, to me, the most important thing that you need to pack each time is joy. We are experiencing a spiritual presence in our life when we experience joy. It is a soulful experience. Think about the times in your life when you experience the beauty of nature, a rising sun, a setting sun, a beautiful coastline, or a hike through beautiful flowers and trees. Maybe for some of you, this soulful experience was in reading a good book or having a warm conversation with a trusted friend. In my mind, what we experience in these moments is a soulful experience. A famous psychiatrist, Carl Jung, who was an agnostic, believed that all of us humans were born with a spiritual void in our soul. He further said that we were constantly looking for things outside of ourselves to fill this void. Now be careful not to confuse joy with thrills. A very holy monk named Thomas Merton wrote, "We live in a world where there is no evil that is not fostered or encouraged for the sake of making money. We live in a society whose whole policy is to excite every nerve in the human body and to keep it at the highest artificial tension, to strain every lust and human desire, and to create as many desires and artificial passions as possible. Simply put, we live in a society that is addicted to thrills." For me, I've gotten my thrills from gambling in a casino, catching a big fish, winning a bet, watching Barry Bonds hit a home run, coaching high school basketball, and getting praise from my bosses or colleagues. Now the problem is with thrills is they're dangerous because they're followed by a letdown. The letdown is so dangerous and so painful, so we try to escape it, so we look for other thrills. We understand this about drugs and alcohol, but think of the thrill-seeking and the letdowns we have in this society. Think about the thrills we get from gambling, food, praise, pornography, and violence. Thrills are addictive, maybe even more addictive than alcohol and drugs, and just as harmful. With all these thrills, the addictive cycle begins, and this is not a journey of joy. So stop thinking about the toys of life that will bring you joy and happiness. They'll only bring you thrills. Toys of life: food, drugs, sex, alcohol, glory, fame, and wealth. All toys. When you get bored with these toys, you will seek another to fill the void, just like the drug addict. If you are having trouble understanding the difference between joy and thrills, just compare the feelings you get when you're looking at some beautiful part of nature, like I mentioned earlier, and contrast that to the feelings that you get when you're experiencing thrills. Thrills come and go quickly, while the beauty of nature soulfully stays within us. So as you go off on your physical journey in the next few weeks, don't forget that maybe it's time to go on to a spiritual journey as well. If you have the courage to make this spiritual journey, don't forget to pack joy, joy, and more joy. Thank you, and God bless.